right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Ooh, I'm not sure if I told you the name of my podcast. I named it Quadcast.
Quadcast. That's perfect. If it was anything else, it wouldn't have been perfect enough.
Quadcast. Welcome to the Quadcast. And to viewers, I get to interview someone who's very near and dear to my heart. But I'm not going to
Yes.
introduce him. I'm going to have him introduce himself. So Jim, or if others may know you by James, introduce yourself, please, to the viewers.
Yes, I'm James Duncan. Some people know me as Jim. Other people know me as JD. My family knows me as Randy. It's a lot of nicknames, but I'm all the same person. You and I go way back. I don't need to give the full story, but you were my first friend when I came to Culver Academies where we met, the boarding school in the middle of BFE, Indiana. Cornfields, 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 and then all of a sudden a Harry Potter looking school. And I came in at the middle of the year, didn't know anybody. And I ended up meeting a lot of people that night, like the first night there, but like you were the one I was like, this guy's cool. This guy's really cool. I mean, I liked everybody else, but you and I like stayed in touch through school, after school. Like you've been one of my best friends starting from Culver all the way to now. You were in my wedding, at my wedding, and I hope we have a long lasting friendship. And I'm very blessed to have been knowing you, to know you back then, to know you now, your journey, how far you've come, man. You've done amazing things. So um, yeah, it's there's so much more we could go into with our backstory, but to keep everything high and tight, I went to this school called Middle Tennessee State University after Culver. I went for their audio production program. It's
Mhm.
a Bachelor of Science, and they're well known for their recording industry majors. They're one of the few schools that has stuff like that. They have really big studios. I in Culver. After you had graduated, I had decided, because I was hanging out with some other people who were starting to make music, I was gonna make music as well, despite not knowing anything about making music at all. Couldn't play guitar, couldn't play piano. I don't know if I had a musical bone in my body, to be honest with you. But I was determined to hand jam it do you remember the Culver laptops they gave us?
Yeah.
I cracked a DAW, a digital audio workstation software onto one of those laptops. It was FL Studio. Started learning how to produce and make music, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this as a career." And I had no idea how I was going to do it, but that's where I went. And after a few years at MTSU, I minored in entrepreneurship, majored in audio production, recording industry major, and whenever I left MTSU, I started working at a digital marketing firm called Titan, which was based in Nashville. um, I didn't know anything about marketing, to be honest with you, at all. I was just honestly looking for a job because even though MTSU is really well connected with everything in the industry, I forewent a lot of opportunities that were given to me because I didn't think they were good enough. I had kind of an ego, if I'm being honest with myself, then because all of my peers, thought highly of me. I thought a little too highly of myself. I think I came a long way with music making and production when I first started at the end of high school through college. I think I excelled very quickly, but I thought I was better than I probably was. So I forewent some opportunities I probably should have taken, and at the end of my wits, I was like, well, I'll figure, something else out. And I got a job at this marketing agency called Titan. Um, Whenever I got hired, I told them, I was like, I don't know anything about marketing aside from Marketing 101, which is a class I took in college. But I told them, I was like, whatever you guys want to teach me, tell me what courses I need to take, like online stuff, extra reading I can do when I'm not at work. I was just like, help me do, just guide me and I'll do the rest of the work. I'll figure it out. I was like, it can't be impossible to learn, right?
Right, right.
And that started my journey. I was technically in sales, and all they really wanted me was to understand marketing, digital marketing enough to just sell it. Um,
Mm.
but I learned in sales, and me in particular as a salesperson, I was a terrible salesman if I didn't truly know what I was talking about because I couldn't just you know, say, hey, like spend, $5,000 a month on Google ads and you'll Yeah, it'll work. And they're like, well, tell me how it's gonna work. I'm like, I don't know, man. And I just couldn't do that. Um,
You never seen magic before? Spend money, make money.
make money. Yeah,
Magic.
you put money in, you get more money somehow. I don't know. And so I kind of got obsessive about it, learning all the strategies to it and all the different services the company provided to the point where I was like learning them enough to where it's like I could implement them myself because that's the
Mm.
kind of understanding I needed. And so I worked for the company. I ended up getting some of their biggest clients. I got this really big real estate company in Nashville. They had like over 30 different apartment complexes and stuff. And it started with just selling one of the apartment complexes. And essentially, my whole sales strategy was to build them a digital marketing sales strategy or a strategy themselves. It's like, okay, like, what is your problem? Identify the problem. They say, hey, we need, more clients, more customers. We need more people, filling the apartment, whatever their goal or objective was. And then I would then look at the tools that my company provided through the services and be like, okay, here's what I think would be a perfect plan to accomplish that for reasons A, B, and C, right? Um, and I had amazing results with that because my clients I would get for the company, they were so happy to be like, oh, we spend this much money, but we got this much back. And then that was how I expanded my sales career. And I actually started doing speaking engagements for that company I was working for whenever we went to conferences and stuff because I never really had a problem with public speaking or anything. And again, with me and selling, I just need to know everything about it, and I can sell it. I can tell you if it's a good fit or not. I don't have to lie. I don't have to do anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't have to convince you that this will work. I know it'll work. And if
Mm.
you are ready to go on that journey, then like let's talk. Let's talk business. And just having that kind of confidence helped a lot. Um, and sometime while I was doing all this stuff, I ended up linking up back with another Culver alum that we were friends through a long time, and he was starting to get in the music industry, and he helped provide me an opportunity to get signed through a publishing house in New York called the
Oh.
Practice Worldwide. So that was like my first deal, so to speak, signed with them. And I thought my life was going to change forever, and it did, just not nearly in the way I thought it was going to. This publishing house did a lot of music for like sync, which means synchronization. It's where this publishing house will make music for like TV shows, movies, video games, commercials. It's the synchronization of audio to visual. Um, and so now I'm starting to like make music for them and give it to them. And I went up a couple times to like, just be in the publishing house and stuff in New York. And it was like then when we started talking to some of the artists in the publishing house and they were talking about building out social media strategies for them. And it just something clicked in my brain where I was like, I could probably help them with that. I've never done that. I've never done a digital marketing strategy for an artist or a label. That sounds interesting. And so I just ended up just talking to them like, hey, like if you guys want help uh doing stuff like that, that's like literally my day job. I'd be more than happy to just help do the strategy part just because I find it interesting. I like solving the problems, you know what I mean, in different ways. And this is in like 2017, and I ended up pioneering a new digital marketing strategy that was not being utilized a lot. In fact, like it was so niche. I can't say that I was the first person to do it. There was like I can't. There's like a handful of people who were doing it. It was very kind of covert and online, but it's called playlisting. And in 2017, if you said, "Hey, I can expand your audience as an artist by getting you on a bunch of playlists on Spotify," if I told that to people, they'd be like, "What are you talking about? What's the value to that to me? Like what? Why does that matter?" And nowadays, if you bring up playlisting, is this whole industry within the music industry, and trying to convince people that playlisting was like an effective strategy was crazy, man. And to be honest with you, it was bonkers. It was absolutely bonkers. Yeah, I could take someone's song. I started databasing all these different third-party playlists on Spotify. Um, and then I just did my sales technique of like finding out, okay, here's this playlist. Here's the user. I need to find that user online and I need to contact them because I want this song on this playlist because it's a perfect fit. And I would do that and I could get people's music onto their playlist for free, sometimes for $5, $10, $20. Like at most, I'm spending that, right? Get them onto multiple playlists and they would just blow up. It was,
That's good math, dude. You spend five free to $20 to
yeah,
get someone on like a playlist. Well,
yeah.
granted, like on a music, that's well done, good
Now,
sir.
yeah, now it's way more. I can talk about those prices now because it's insane how expensive it is now and how ineffective it is because it's kind of got played out, through the years. Um, but when I saw the effectiveness of that and that working,
Mhm.
and then it was insane because like I'm working at these conferences, I'm going to these speaking engagements for like Titan, my day job, but all of a sudden I'm getting attention from like the heads of certain labels that I've dreamed about being signed to as like an artist, but they don't want to talk to me as like an artist or a producer. They want to talk to me like, "Hey, like you're that marketing dude." And I'm like, "Okay."
I make music too.
Well, I learned pretty quick that if I don't muddy the waters too much with like doing that pitch, right? Like, "Hey,
Mhm.
I also produce, da da da." I I essentially I felt like it came to a fork in the road. I was like, I can say no, I don't want to do this, stay with my day job and just wait for the producing thing to like pan out, or I can see where this goes. I
Mm.
was like, what? I mean, I don't know how far I can go, but I'll give it a shot. And so I quit my day job in 2017 and I went all in, created a company, and I just did digital marketing for labels and artists. And I've worked with every label in the music industry, period. I've worked with I've worked with a ton of artists. Some of the biggest artists. I've worked with mid-level artists. I've worked with small artists. I've broken artists, and which means like you literally take them from nothing to like they got signed to a major type thing, which was really really cool and fulfilling. Primarily done through like the playlisting strategy that I was using on Spotify. I had a very unique I had a very unique grasp on the market because I was all referral based. Like I only got clients through other people referring me. I did a good job through that, and it just kept business just kept coming in, and it was good. And playlisting was just the best. You know what I mean? Um, and now a couple years ago, it's 2026 now, so like 2024, the playlisting market just completely changed. Spotify changed like how they do stuff, how they penalize certain playlisters, and it essentially came down to like control. Spotify doesn't want they don't want third party playlists, which basically means some random Joe. You know what I mean? Some random
Making
Joe who made a pool party playlist, right? To charge people for
their playlist.
playlists. Yeah, exactly. But it also kind of opened up the market for fraud, right? Because people realize you could build out playlists, put a bunch of fake followers on it, and then you can bot traffic to them, to these playlists, and generate money from charging people for playlists, even though they're fake. The fake playlists and they are fake streams and everything. Like there were a lot of those in the playlisting market, and they're hard to spot and hard to deal with. But I was pretty good at spotting them out just because I was like very hands on with everything. But when Spotify started being like, "Hey, if we catch you doing third party playlisting, da da da, like we're just gonna ban you from the platform," like my business just completely like cut, bro. I went from doing 250,000 a year. I was almost gonna have 300,000 if everything continued, but in October of 2024, Spotify made that big announcement. Just mm, killed it. Absolutely, just killed it, gutted it. It it sucked. It sucked immensely. And I frankly had to figure something else out. Um, so that leads me to where I am now, right? I started doing. It's kind of weird. I went back to I call it corporate marketing, but I
Mhm.
went back to like marketing for like regular businesses. So I pivoted my agency to that. I still do some music marketing stuff that's not playlisting involved. It's actually like this newer strategy that um, I'm working on. I don't want to say if I'm pioneering anything big. We'll see if anything pans out for it, but I think it's kind of cool where I can basically blow people up on TikTok, which is pretty neat. I can make people go viral on Reddit and anywhere I want pretty much. And so I was like, okay, this is a really cool skill set now that I built this new marketing strategy for social media, making stuff go viral. I can do that for companies. I can do that for services. I can do that for products. I can do that. I can do that for anything. So now that's what I focus on in catering with my agency. Um, and yeah, everything's been great, honestly. Like it's a lot less hustle. I will say moving out of like the music industry, like a breath of fresh air. It was so nice to like climb the ranks. And by the way, when I was in the music industry, I did get my opportunity to be like, "Hey, I'm a producer. I make music," and get those like other opportunities to do what I always wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to do sync music. I've had my music placed on Netflix, NFL, um, Hulu, ESPN, just like a ton of different stuff, you know. So I found that, you know, big and successful, and I like that. I got to work with artists like musically outside of marketing. I've worked on Grammy winning projects and stuff, so that was really cool. But the paycheck was never like what I was getting doing the marketing. So it was a breath of fresh air to move from the music industry to doing what I'm doing now. I have way more time on my hands. Um, I'm frankly making a lot more, which is super duper nice. I'm so much less stressed on trying to make everything work in trying to, you know, dodge Spotify and like deal with artists, which are it's that's a whole thing. Um, and so yeah, I'm doing marketing for different companies. Some of the clients I have are like healthcare facing, like some are
Mm-hmm.
doing products for like pill bottles and pill capsules that are really cool. I can't talk too much about it. And then I'm working for like a peptide company. I'm working with some other e-com businesses and whatnot, doing a lot of things for TikTok Shop and them. And so everything's been great. Yeah, everything's been really fantastic. So it's been a hell of a journey, man. It's been a lot of ups and downs. As you know, being an entrepreneur yourself, man, there's peaks, there's valleys, but yeah, it's ongoing. There's never a point where you stop and you're like, hell yeah, this is it. You know what I mean?
No, no. The limit, as that one lady said in Mean Girls, the limit does not exist.
This is
Um,
true. This is true.
well, that is some big lore, dude. I remember I think you'd like been telling me like back in 2017 when you told me about like your replacement thing. I was like, I don't know sure if I understand it, but now that you broke it down for me right now, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and what I learned, and like I'm not, I have a I would say like a base level of understanding of marketing, as having had to market myself.
Hmm.
But like something that I've learned as far as like platforms are concerned is if you are a content creator on a platform, you're gonna and you make it big, like that's good, but you're always gonna need another stream of revenue or you gotta figure out how to make more money because the platform will flip you on your head as soon as they're like, now you've got enough like well-renowned or popular users on this platform, we're not paying them no more money.
Yeah.
We're gonna make money. I think it happened on YouTube for like the YouTube content creators. I know it happened on TikTok
Yep.
and a whole bunch of other people. So like, for high achievers, if you're listening and you guys are like on like social media platforms, please remember the fact that these platforms care. We live in capitalistic America. These platforms care about themselves. They do
True.
not care about paying you money. You're allowed to make money for now.
This is true. This is true. If they, I mean, it's honestly wild because they're doing everything they can to make people make content for free or like as cheap as possible because those platforms thrive off of we call it UGC, user generated content. The more
Mm,
UGC a platform has that's like decent quality UGC, not AI slop, usually the better it's going to like be and perform. And it's just crazy how much they've conditioned us to adopt that UGC mentality, right? Where it's like, oh, I need to make content if I want to market myself. Perfect. We have a platform where we're going to monetize your content. And maybe, just maybe, if you hit certain thresholds, we'll give you a couple bones. How about 2 cents for 1,000 views? Does that sound good to you?
it's the best that you're gonna get. So,
It's the best you're gonna get because we give you exposure. It's the equivalent of like in the music industry terms, like performing for exposure, which is always kind of like an inside meme.
Oh, bro, perform for sure just
Yeah.
sounds like not the move. I'm not a music industry guy myself, but had someone made me that offer, I'd be like, oh, that sounds like a trap though. And they'd
Yeah.
be like, no, 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 it's good exposure. In the words of a wise man, expose these nuts. Uh,
Yeah.
well, as someone who's like someone who's very busy, high achiever, you work hard, you have so many things, so many like essentially like plates in the air that you have to juggle by yourself.
Hmm.
My question is how do you make time for your health and for your fitness? And are those things that you've had to struggle with as someone who's been so focused and career oriented?
Mm. So I can definitely say there's been phases. And
Okay.
during each phase I put more emphasis on health and fitness. In other phases I put zero. Absolutely none. Because it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a concern. I feel like I'm very I do want to say like I'm very humbled that, you consider me a high achiever. I don't. And we said that too when you said, "Hey, I want you on the podcast like a high achiever." I was like, "I appreciate it, but I'm sure you could get higher achievers." And but I think that's something how we see ourselves, you know what I mean? That it's never like good enough. And a key component of being, a high achiever for everything is like I think we get obsessive, right? When we're like really onto something, we get really obsessive. All right, maybe that's just me, but I think you're the same.
You're
Um,
correct. You're correct.
yeah, if you're like into something, it's like you got to be obsessed with it. In fact, the only sales book I think was worth a damn was Be Obsessed with It by Grant Cardone. I don't think that's the title, but like Grant Cardone, not a great dude.
Not
And
great.
he's not a great dude. I don't like a lot of his views and stuff, but that book was like big for me. And the big core concept that I really enjoyed about that book when I was like going through sales training and stuff was like allowing yourself to be obsessed with something. And if you're not obsessed with something else, let that go. And so during those phases where I focused more on like my health and fitness was like when I was working at the day job at Titan,
Hmm.
I started getting more into health and fitness, frankly, because I was bored and I had the time. Like things were going really good after I like learned I spent most of my time in my obsession learning social media strategies, learning digital marketing strategies enough to where I could sell them. Once I understood them and basically the services my company was offering, and none of their services were like revolutionary, they weren't doing anything cutting edge. It was just standard digital marketing stuff. They were doing good work, let me tell you, but it wasn't like what I went on to do where I made a new strategy. You know what I mean? I made a strategy that every label and artist now uses. It's like part of the playbook. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I was just bored, man. I just bored. I had extra time, so I started doing swimming. I picked up swimming again. So I was like go swim at the gym. I would work out. I'd dip out of work early to go do that stuff. So like I was, decent. I was getting in decent shape with everything. And I spent time doing that. And then once everything started taking like moving forward in the music industry, and I was like making that company, doing digital marketing for that, I got obsessive about making that process work because I part of like pioneering a new strategy is like there's no playbook, there's no guidelines, there's no rules that you can't there's nobody out teaching it. You have to like learn it yourself. So I spent a lot of time doing stuff, implementing. I did test runs. I went for my first set of clients outside of like that publishing house, which was kind of I was so undercharging them for what they were getting. I went to like some people around Nashville and I was just like, hey, like give me $100 and I'll show you what I can do with $100. I'm not going to take any of it as profit. I just want to like use your case study of success with this playlisting strategy so I can, go back to these labels and like frankly get more bread. Um,
Hey.
so I spent a ton of time doing that. Databasing the playlists on Spotify was like that was all hand done. I didn't have a scraper, which is like a bot that you could automate to do that stuff. I didn't know how to build something like that. I didn't have AI because pre-AI times. So I'm having to like manually like sit there for hours every day and just keep adding to the spreadsheet that I built to be like 2 or 3 thousand, playlists. I like handmade that, you know what I mean? And it keeps updating, you know what I mean? Some playlists will, can't find the person or There's a new playlist that popped up that's growing big, so I gotta like add that to it. It's like ever ongoing, and so I stopped doing fitness and health stuff, but I was so excited about what I was doing that was like, I didn't matter to me. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. I'll figure that out later, man. I need to capitalize on this moment that I'm in right now and chase it to the ground.
Eh,
Um, and so I didn't work out or do anything fitness for like a long time, man. Like years. Like pretty sure from like 2018, 2019, all the way through until like a couple years post COVID. Like whenever I started talking to you again about my fitness stuff, like I don't, maybe that was 2021. Like I did nothing, and it started to show, man. My health definitely suffered. I went from like 210 to I think my heaviest was like 260 or 270. I gained a lot of weight, but that's kind of like the trade-off sometimes when you get that dream job and you put everything into it and you're sacrificing everything else because you're just chasing it down, you know what I mean, trying to make it happen. And it is what it is. And now I'm back on that fitness thing, frankly,
mm.
because I got a lot of time. I got a lot of time. I was like, right now it's like I can fill it with more clients for sure, but things are coasting right now. I was like, I think I'm gonna ease up a little bit and just like kind of work on me again a little bit. I'm trying to find more balance. You know what I mean? Um, and then whenever we get into that, I'm sure you're gonna laugh at what I think is balanced as far as like goals and stuff. But as to like the second part of that question where you asked, I believe it was like, what was one of the challenges, or is it one of the challenges I faced then, or the challenges I face now?
Same. Like, what did you face? Like, I think you kind of covered what did you face beforehand. Essentially, like
Yeah.
where you said like your obsession, like led you to chase some fitness, and it kind of led you away from fitness and led you back in. So that was like a challenge you faced then, and now you're back into it. So I guess what are the challenges that you'd say you face now, fitness wise?
The challenges I face now, fitness wise, is I hate tracking my calorie intake, even though my uh, personal trainer John Brown says I should, and it's very good for me. I hate doing that. It's so annoying and tedious, and so I'd rather just work out a ton and then eat decent, and then I don't have to track it because it all washes out in the math. So my current challenge now is I'm giving myself too much, and I know that because I just a couple weeks ago I haven't talked to you about it, but like I made myself a hard regimen, like a
Hmm.
regimen. I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow this because up until recently I've very much been like, oh, whatever I'm feeling today is what I'm gonna do. I'm feeling like biking, 4 miles, and then I'm gonna row, a 2K, then I'm gonna do that. If
You're a
I feel
dangerous
chest,
man.
if I
You're a
feel chest day and leg day superset today, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm just
oh
how I
god.
was feeling, you know what I mean, to kind of dictate what I was gonna do. I was like, all right, I'm gonna build like a real regimen. And I will say, John Brown, I've been seeing good results ever since you got me to stop eating like a 12-year-old supermodel and to actually start eating carbs. um, but part of my regimen is like, okay, so now I'm on this thing where I'm just trying to increase my I can't think of the proper term for it, but like my daily calories burned when I'm not like hard working out, right? Because I end up sitting at my desk a lot. I'm sitting down, so I'm just trying to walk more, right? Like doing the
Hmm.
eight to 10,000 steps a day, type thing. So in order to make that work, I'll go walk my dog 2 miles in the morning, and then I'll do like a one little workout. Maybe it's just like the delts, the side delts, rear delts, just a quick one, 10, 15 minutes, right? And then I'll work. And then later in the afternoon, when I start to get tired, my way of combating being tired in the afternoon is I'll go work out.
Mm.
So then I'll go do my real workout session, which it's either cardio or, lifting. And then I'll walk 2 miles with the dog afterwards. I did that routine for like 2 weeks. Man, I'm tired. I'm tired. It's like the first week I did it, I was like, okay, I'm going to work out 6 days a week, doing essentially these two a days, right? 6 days a week, and I'm gonna rest on Sunday, and it's gonna go great. I made it through that first week. I think I rested not 1 day, but 3 days back to back. I was just so tired, and now I'm like, okay, I might be overstretching myself a little bit here. I might be overdoing it slightly once again.
Bro, you on some Batman stuff right now. You're like literally the only thing I would have like if you had said, and then after walking my dog for 2 miles in the evening, I roam the streets in my car looking for crime, waiting, staring up at the sky for my signal.
No, no, and then it's back to work, dinner, and then I'll chill for a few hours and then go to sleep. I ain't got time to be Batman, bro. And I definitely don't have the sleep schedule to be Batman because I need 8 hours, period. If I don't have 8 hours of sleep, I'll sleep in to get those 8 hours. But I'm getting those 8 hours one or
Um,
another. I'm definitely like one of those people where I need those 8 hours to like function at my best. You know what I mean?
Fair is fair.
Yeah.
I think sleep is one of those things that's like highly uh that people lack focus on. It's like people like you take the supplement to boost your testosterone. It's like, sleep your 8 to 9 hours. That'll boost your testosterone, fam. You don't sleep. That's why
This is true.
that
This
that
is true.
that's why you're not feeling good, man. Like sleep more. So 100%. So that's a crazy routine, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I train some 2 days, but like I'm also
You
like trying to do like high level athletic shit. So like yeah, I train 2 days, but like I don't, and it's somewhat in alignment with like my day job, like the being active thing. Like that's in alignment with what I do and how I do it. But essentially, you're like, I'm helping these people like digitally market, create, and then I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna do these 2 days, and I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna walk the dog. The dog getting 4 miles, bro.
Bro,
You're
it's a German Shepherd. He needs that exercise. And it's more time efficient. You know what I mean? To like work, get my steps in and get his steps in so I work him out versus like, oh, I need to set aside 30 minutes a day to like go throw the ball for him. Which I'll
okay.
still do, right? But it's like I gotta exercise. It's a German Shepherd, man. Like a lot of people don't understand how energetic those dogs are. They need if you want them well behaved, you gotta
You
you
gotta
gotta
work
put
them
in the
out.
time. Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm trying to be
Um,
time efficient with everything, which is why I do supersets. I'm like when I do my workout stuff, I know because they're kind of longer, I'm like I gotta make it time efficient. I'm supersetting everything.
every
Everything.
you're an animal. I aspire to be you one day.
Bro, I learned from my trainer, man. He said get in there and get after it. Bro, when we were in high school, when I used to work out probably like, I wouldn't say more seriously than now, but we used to like work out together.
Yeah.
Anytime I was doing the John Brown workout, it's like all week my everything was sore and hurt every time without fail. I dreaded working. I loved working out with you to hang out with you and bullshit around, but I dreaded like actually trying to keep up with you. That was rough. Always
Bro,
was.
it's really funny. Like everyone who's worked out with me in high school, like I would say like I'm way better at beating someone where they're at now instead of being like, no, just do what I'm doing. It's gonna be okay. Like I
You
got
100% would like that.
and I get it now. I get it now. Like it's better to be somewhere where they're at. Like I've got one of my roommates is childhood best friend as well. And he like we were working out one time. He was so tired, he just fell asleep in the gym. He was laying down like on bench press waiting for his next set, and he fell asleep. And we got in trouble. He's like, "Hey, your friend's sleeping in the gym." I was like, "No, he's just resting in between sets. He's really efficient with how he recovers from his sets." Like there was that time. There was another time he got like I don't know. I say it's heat exhaustion. He said it was heat stroke. When we
Oh
were
God,
pushing
dude.
we were pushing a Ford Explorer in neutral in like 100-degree weather in Saudi Arabia. And he's like, John, you had me push a car in 100-degree weather. And I was like, this is the best time. This is the time of our life, bro. This is great. He goes, no, John, you were the only one having fun. I was like, no, you weren't having
Your
fun?
friend, your friends look around like, is this a CIA torture experiment? What's going on? And you're like, I love this.
100%. I was like, yo, this is that shit. I was like, aren't you having a good time? And he was like, no, like, he's like, John, no one else was having fun. I was like, no, it was just me. He's like,
It
yeah.
was just me.
He's like, we enjoy hanging out with you. So somehow, when you told us it wasn't going to be that bad, we made the mistake of believing you. So we went with you. And it's like now that we're here, like, we can't leave because John's going to be out in a parking lot in 100 weather, pushing a truck by himself. That's scary. So we should probably be here to at least make sure he doesn't kill himself. That's possible.
Facts. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're trying to kill us, which is something that we didn't anticipate. We're like, we'll go to keep you safe. Meanwhile, we were the ones who needed saving.
Yeah, nobody
Oh,
was there to keep them safe.
no one's there to keep them safe, right? Like I was like, it's crazy. Like I understand now, but like apparently back in the day, I was horrible. I am so sorry, brethren, for who I
Nah,
was when I was younger.
nah. I mean, honestly, I will say like one of the benefits of working out with you, like, I mean, I don't know if yeah, you probably remember like I broke my sternum,
I do
right? Like
remember you
working
breaking
out.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I became school legend in a bad way for that. I was the kid who broke his sternum from bench pressing. I never, God, so embarrassing, man. But like I've always had, now I have this like fear of bench pressing. Honestly, because my spotter wasn't looking at the time, you know what I mean? So like now I'm like, okay, who's spotting me? I think I would only bench press if like you were there because I was like, all right, I trust John Brown. John Brown's like not gonna like fuck me up. But you also probably remember I did more of like the dumbbell press because
Hmm.
I was like, bro, I'm not benching. I was like, bro, did you know that if that shit falls on your chest, you could die? Did you know if that gives out, you're cooked?
I'm so sorry someone did that to you, but also once again, I'm kind of like the bad guy. So my friend who I traumatized, he was like benching one time and he tried to rack the bar and I wouldn't let him rack. He's like, John, what are you doing? I was like, you've got
You
like five more.
bastard.
He was like, John, what are you doing? I was like, you've totally got five more left in the tank. You've got
I
this.
I
And
can see it.
He's like, John, my arms are starting to give way. I was like, no, they're not. I've got you. Like, and so my hands were there. Like, I'll say, I'll support you through this. Like, but we can do this together.
We can do this
He's
together.
like, please let me quit. I was like, I can't let you quit. I see so much potential in you.
I can see it in your eyes.
I can
He's
see,
like, fear?
he's like, John, fear is in my eyes. No, it's potential. And you're so close to realizing it. If you just push past your limits, you've got this. Obviously, once again, I'm a way better friend and coach and professional now than I was for anyone who worked out with me in high school. So if you worked out with me in high school and you're watching this podcast episode, I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Hey, but did you die though?
That's what I'm
But
saying. Like, no, I
did
kept
you
everyone
die
safe.
though?
Heat stroke, heat exhaustion, either way, were you hydrated by the time you got home? Yeah. Right,
Yeah,
like
you fine.
you're
You
fine.
didn't die.
That's what I try to that's the point I try to tell everybody, but we'll see if they hear it or if anyone sticks with it.
Heard
Ooh,
that.
question as a high achiever, I like to ask all this, and technically you have worked with me, but I was gonna ask you, like, have you worked with a professional as far as health or your fitness or any of the struggles that you mentioned? And if so, what are some of the important things that you learned with that experience?
The only professionals I've ever worked with for my health have been rehabilitation professionals whenever I like destroyed my knee during rugby. Um,
Damn.
and I was like rebuilding from that. And then you, like, those are the only two professionals I've ever had. From the rehabilitation, for my knee, just for a quick backstory, I like just fucked up my knee or messed up my knee if you have to edit that. I really messed up my knee during a rugby game. I was like in the middle of a ruck. I was fully planted. Somebody came from the over like the side of the ruck, like hit me and like my knee just pop 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 and just completely just
No,
wrecks.
no,
Um
that's a pop a pop, not the
oh
oh.
yeah, it was bad. And I like the biggest part of it that was so detrimental was like I tore away all the cartilage between, you know what I mean, the joint right there,
All
just
right.
gone, all of it gone. Um, and so the option was like, either get knee replacement or they were like, we can try to grow the cartilage back because you're young enough. So they ended up trying to grow in the cartilage back part, but they said that the rehabilitation was going to determine whether how well that worked, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I took that really seriously because I was like, yo, I do not want to have like a bum knee for the rest of my life. Like I've got a bum knee, but I don't want it to be like I need knee replacement surgery at 25, bum knee. Um, so I took it super seriously, and essentially a lot of the rehab was just like slowly stimulating it, right? The knee to start getting the cartilage to grow back
Hmm.
after they drill like these little holes at the top of my whatever bones are in your shin and
Tibia.
yeah, the tibia and then in the femur. Like I was doing stuff of like the elliptical, biking, zero impact type stuff to just stimulate the knee, and then like different band exercises. And what I learned from that is how uncomfortable uh rehabilitate physical rehabilitation is. It is really uncomfortable, but there's a very distinct difference in the pain of doing rehabilitation versus the pain of like an injury. And it's hard to describe unless it sounds weird. It's hard to describe unless you've gone through like a lot of painful situations physically through
Hmm.
your life, right? Like I've broken a ton of bones. Um, I know if I've got a fracture because I can just tell the type of pain. It's like a nauseating type of pain. You know what I mean? Like, have you broken a bone before, right?
Okay, I've broken a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like just this nauseating pain, which is just it's awful, man. It's just awful. I can tell like immediately if I've broken something. I've done it well over 10 times. Like I'm very familiar with the pain, and and then also when it comes to stuff like muscle pain versus like ligament or tendon pain, I'm not saying anybody can like tell the difference, like, oh, this is cartilage pain and versus muscle pain, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they're all different feelings, and I could tell the pain I was going through during rehabilitation. It wasn't like, oh, I'm doing something bad for my knee. I need to stop and be careful. I don't want to feel the pain. It was like I could tell it was discomfort that was like this is good discomfort. This isn't like, oh, I shouldn't be moving my limbs like this type discomfort. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um, so I learned that with the rehabilitation, I think a lot of people probably don't take that as seriously as they should, right? To like really work through that discomfort because we all are trained to like shy away from discomfort and, physically and emotionally. So I learned that. And then working with you, I've learned that I am not a expert in this field whatsoever, and I need to stop pretending like I am. Because it's like my buddy, my business partner, he actually told me he's like, there's a reason why you don't go to your doctor and ask him about advice on the stock market. Right? Because it's like this psychological thing where somebody could be brilliant in their field, They could be brilliant in their field and they assume because they're brilliant in that field, well, of course they got to be brilliant in this other field. This other field can't be nearly as complex. And oh, the hubris, my friend, that I had. I was like, I can figure this out. I can figure out anything. I'll figure out fitness. It can't be that hard. And apparently, there's a lot more nuances to it than I was giving it credit for. So whenever I was like working with you, you know, and you can tell about the experience being on the other side of it, right? But I'm sure it was really annoying because I'm like your boy, but I'm also coming across like, hey man, I want to do this and be careful of this, and I'm hurting here. What do you think I should do? And then you give me a well crafted, well thought out piece of advice that's rooted in years of knowledge that you've attained academically and also anecdotally through practice and persistence. This is your field, right? And I'm over here like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. And you're just like, oh man, what are you doing? And then what, like 2 months later, I come back like, John Brown, you were right. And I wish I could say there was one time I've done that to you, but it's multiple. It's multiple, man. It's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just need to listen. I just need to listen, man.
Bro, I would say one of the hardest times I laughed. I remember I was walking my pup, and I remember talking to you about like uh saying I was like, hey, like, because you're like, yeah, John, here's what I did today. So far today, I've rode this much, I've ran this much, and I've lifted this much. I was like, all right, cool. That's a lot, bro. I'm not training that hard, and I train pretty hard. uh how much are you eating? You're like, I'm eating like 1,700 calories. Man, I'm like, all right, bro, like listen here. If you row like 16K and you run 3 miles and you lift weights and you eat 1,700 calories, that is not enough gas in the tank to facilitate that. I was like, I think you should start eating more food. And you were like, oh no, John, why would I eat more food if I'm trying to lose weight? And I was like, because I was like, you're right now, I know you want to lose weight, but the amount of activity that you're doing and the amount of food that you're feeding yourself, it's not in alignment. You need to give yourself a little bit more gas in the tank to be able to do all that. You're like, I got this, Sean, don't worry. And then like I forgot what happened. I think you ended up crashing and burning. And then your wife took your scale because like one thing I'm about, as you know, is like weighing yourself every day. And your wife took like your scale away, and like you're like, so John, what I started doing was I remember you talked about it. Like I started getting myself back a little bit more food. She took the scale away for a week. I got it back. And I stepped on it. I think it was like after a week, you got the scale back. You were eating more food. I think you dropped, was it 3 or 6 pounds?
Frankly, I don't remember, but I dropped. It was probably six because three wouldn't get me excited.
It's
You know what I
really
mean?
excited. Okay, it was 6.
Yeah, three wouldn't get me excited, but I think it was like six, like
It
six
was
or maybe even closer to 10. Because it was for a while.
it was something where like you gotten the scale back finally, and like you because you start eating more, and you're like, "Ugh, this that shit John told me to do."
The biggest change. I mean, look, man, going from like being super sedentary to like being more active, it's a journey. But I was like, I really thought I was hitting that point where it's like, all right, I need to up the ante here. I gotta like, I mean, how else do you improve but make it more difficult? So how can I make it more difficult? I'll just go harder and eat less. And then I would like fall asleep after every workout. Like, and I'm not even exaggerating. I would like cook myself. I would because I was doing like weightlift and then cardio. I think I told you like I was like, yeah, I did chest and then something else and then I rode a 2K and then, I walked the dog and then I like went sat on the couch, drank my protein shake and I passed out for like an hour. And I was like, yeah, it's like every day. And then once I started eating more, I stopped passing out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I say passing out like it's super dramatic. It's not, but I was just like so tired. I would just sit on the couch, didn't even shower yet, I'm just like sitting there just like I'm just gonna and then I'm like asleep, bro. I don't take naps. I'm not a nap kind of guy. If I'm taking naps, I didn't sleep well last night and I don't like that. I want to go all day. And just the fact it was like just so consistent. I was like, man, there might be something to what he's saying here. I might need to eat more. And I just felt less of that like just completely drained feeling after working out. Granted, I also stopped working out so damn hard because I was like, I need to probably dial it back. And that's just because I was like, I need to find balance. I'm getting a little obsessive about this right now. I need to find balance. I'm not training for the Olympics. John Brown's training for the Olympics, and he told me that I'm doing more than him. At first, I was like, hell yeah, brother, kicking ass. And then I was like, all right, man, you need to chill a little bit. You're like, you're over 30 here. You are not in Olympic shape. You should not be doing this. You'll probably end up killing yourself, bro. Like that heart gonna give out, man. So easy. So yeah,
Oh,
I
man,
dialed it back a little bit, and now
you
we're
are
back
so
on.
freaking gangster.
Man, now we're nah, man. It's it's that constant need to like feel like you're progressing or like moving forward. Like it's the bane of our existence in a way, but also like we love the shit out of it. You know what I mean? The biggest challenging is just like balancing that, you know, because it's too easy to get carried away and then it could consume you.
As someone who's all obsessed and all consumed, yeah.
Yeah,
But
factual.
I'm I'm glad that you learned to find balance in your fitness, and that some of the wisdom that I imparted not only worked but was like beneficial. Because like I said, you can get the body you want without working half as hard as I did. Like one of the things that childhood best friend roommate, he saw me pull a 2K, and
Mm.
I think it was my fastest 2K. I think it was a 6:14 something. And afterwards, like I
Whoa.
couldn't.
Oh my God. What?
Oh,
It's
sucked.
incredible.
This sucked. Miserable.
Ah, now I gotta go put in a 614 2K. You may want to check on me after. I'll be dead, but I gotta try. Ain't no way.
I'm
Good for
ripping.
you. Hell yeah.
Thanks, brother. But like afterwards, like you've ripped a 2K, so you know I can't breathe. Everything hurts. I'm not okay. I want to breathe and feel oxygen in my body again. right? Like
Hmm.
that's like you're breathing, but yet somehow no air is being like the concentration grade is off. Like you're
Just
inhaling air, but you can't breathe. You're suffocating almost.
in my
Everything
case, I'm
hurts.
wheezing.
You wheeze.
My fat ass is wheezing on that tiny seat.
Like it is horrible, right? And then
Yeah.
he goes, so this is what it takes to have abs. Like, right?
Not
And
for
he
me.
and he paused. He's always watching TV while like I heard and stuff like that. So he paused the TV and goes, I think I'd rather learn to love myself.
That's hard work too, but hell yeah, brother, get after
I
it.
was just, he's like, yeah, I think I'd rather learn to love myself. And then just started watching TV again.
Man, the
And I was
only time I had abs was when I was like swimming. I used to smoke cigarettes. I was smoking cigarettes. I was taking Adderall, and my diet consisted of Adderall, coffee, and probably like one fast food meal a day. And I was swimming like a mile and a half every other day. Like absolutely bonkers. The only reason I was going is just because of the Adderall. Like otherwise, I probably would have keeled over and died. Um, but that's the only time I had abs in my entire life, and I felt good about it then for sure. Nah, I'm good,
I'm
man.
good.
I just want to fit into decent sized clothes, and that's it. I just want to be healthy and live longer. That's it.
Which is totally fair. And I tried to tell him, I was like, bro, don't get me wrong, ripping a 2K, ripping that sub 615 2K like it, I don't say it felt good. It was a monument that I had to achieve. I'm not gonna tell you it felt good. It's a lie, right? Like anyone who's wrote a 2K and I was like, that 2K felt great. They lied to you.
Nah,
No, no one
I
believed
know that would have been a lie.
that's
No
a
2K feels great.
no 2K feels good.
If you're really going for it, it does. If it feels good, you didn't go hard enough, honestly.
You're right. You was that was a mock 2K. That was a lie.
Yeah, you're
Um,
like, oh, that's cute.
that's
That's a good
cute.
warm up.
It's a good warm up. It's a good warm up 2K. Now we get to the real 2K, right? Like, yeah. So I tried to tell him, I was like, man, like, what if I told you it's so much easier? What if you just track your food and lift weights and you don't have to throw yourself against a wall with a rowing machine for, 6 minutes to get it? He goes, I think it's a setup. No, it's gonna be loving myself. I'm gonna do that instead.
I got some work to do.
I got some work to do. I got some reading to do. I'm gonna work on this, John. I appreciate you though.
That's perfect. There's one thing that comes to mind too. I kind of forgot to mention, but when I started working with you too, there's one thing that you helped me immensely with is like that knee injury I spoke about, right?
Mm.
Like after I had the knee injury, yeah, I never needed, or I'll never say never, right? But I have not needed that knee replacement surgery or anything like that. But it was giving me issues when I was like heavier. And in fact, like even before I was like heavier, I always knew I was like, yeah, like this knee's kind of fucked. I'm never gonna really be able to like squat. Like I'm not gonna be putting up 300 on a squat rack, like ever again. And I'm fine with that, right? But I would still get like knee pains. You know what I mean? Like bending down to get something, taking a knee, you know what I mean, to get something like on the low shelf and whatnot, like mad uncomfortable. Didn't like it, you know. And I would have knee pain in my other knee that I didn't have surgery on too. And I remember talking to you about this, and you told me it probably had something to do with like compensation and the way I was probably like moving and trying to protect my knee, yada yada. Um, and some of the exercises you gave for them, I actually still do. Even though they are hell on earth. Bulgarian split squats. Um, my God. My Lord. I mean, when I was first doing them, I mean, for the first few months, man, like months, not even kidding, they would just hurt so much. And not even just like muscular, like my knees hurt so much. It was probably because I wasn't using them a lot, you know? I was heavier, and just trying to exist and do the Bulgarian split squat, man, it just like killed me. I remember talking to you about that too. It just hurt so much. But now, I still do the split squats, do, leg
Mm.
stuff and whatnot. I'm not doing heavy weighted squat stuff. You know, I'll do goblet squats and other stuff like that. Like I do kettlebell workouts now, which is a new thing, and oh my God. We talk about a challenge, man. Kettlebell workouts are rough,
Not
as
fun.
I'm sure you know. And then the rowing and then the biking. Dude, I have zero. Oh, and I'm running too. Yeah, I've never been a runner. and I have zero knee pains. I'm able to like bend down and squat down like I feel like I never have in my life. And I had that knee injury when I was 18, I think. I don't know. 18, 17, something like that. Like my knees, it's like I don't even have a problem in either of them. Like they're I don't want to say perfect 'cause they're probably not, man. They're probably all banged up, but like I don't it's actually incredible, man. And I think it just came down to like the fundamentals of like destabilization, right? The stabilization muscles I got from the Bulgarian stuff. I think that was a huge thing I was missing, right? You talk about it. What's the phrase you use? It's the plane. I don't know. This isn't right, but the plane of activation, basically like where you are in relative to your knee whenever you're doing that workout, right? Like you're like if I'm rowing and biking, it's the same plane, right? That I'm
Mhm.
working the knee versus if I'm doing something
You just
different, right?
that's plain because that's both are sagittal planes. So sagittal plane is like we call it strength conditioning. We have like sagittal, transverse, and horizontal. Those are like the planes. So it's like we take a person and they're facing you. Like it's like frontal plane is like if we cut you in half down the middle. Sagittal plane I think is if we cut you in half like this way, and transverse plane is like horizontally. So no, your planes is right.
All right. Did you just put a hex on me or something? Like, what are you
No, this
talking?
is this is
I'm kidding. Sagittal plane, the way.
this is
Like,
the
my
sagittal
lord,
plane, the frontal plane, the
this is
horizontal plane.
this is why you are the expert. But yeah, no, you everything you said, yeah, absolutely. So that helped. I think it helped a lot with my knees. So in working with you, I'm super appreciative of that. Like I feel way younger in my body, even though I'm not like super duper light. Frankly, I'm pretty content with my weight now and everything. I feel super healthy and just like it's kind of funny now watching when my wife been down. She sounds like how I did a few years ago, and now I'm like, oh yeah, let me get down there, no problem. Got the knees of a 16-year-old apparently.
Bro, I still laugh when you told me about that story about like how I gave the corrective exercise for like that nerve pain that you had.
Oh,
And
bro.
then your wife got the same pain. You're like, no, no, wait,
Yeah.
I have the solution for this. See, I went to John Brown exactly for this same issue, and I have the solution. Do this. And you're gonna go, but I don't necessarily feel better right now. I know. You just gotta do it again. Do it
And
multiple
again,
times a day. And
the
then
flossing technique. I'll
over
never
the
forget it.
over the course of a week, you're just gonna feel better. And
Yeah.
you're gonna want to do something stupid, like bend over and stretch.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that I had the same thought. I took that same action. And then I said, shit, that was
Yeah.
bad. And I need to do John Brown exercises again so that doesn't happen. And then I just remember you telling me that your wife was like, oh, I feel like you just need to stretch. And he goes, oh, that made it worse. And you're like, why are we like this?
To give backstory for your viewers here, I had like a pinched nerve in my neck, I think it was. Oh God, it just like killed me, man. It was just the worst. And then we realized John Brown realized after talking to him, he's like, "Hey, it's probably this nerve." Tells me a name, like, okay, man, yeah, sure. And he's like, it's probably, the one that runs down here, and what you need to do is floss. And flossing is this technique where you like sit down on a bench, something at, normal seat level, and you take one foot and then kick it out, and while you're doing that you simultaneously like move your neck back, right?
Mhm.
And to make sure it goes back and moves with it and not the other way around, because that's a no-go. And you
That's
do
a
that a
no-go.
few times, and you're essentially taking the nerves on either side of your spine and like moving them around, because we were thinking it was muscular, kind of like pulling it in, like, and so we're just trying to like kind of loosen it up, right? Maybe it's a skeletal thing. We're just trying to loosen it up, get it moving. um, it feels stupid when you're doing it. You're just like, this isn't doing anything. There's no way this is doing it. But I'll tell you, if you try to do what you think should fix it, which is essentially like bending over, because you're like, oh, let me stretch my back, and then that just makes it all worse. And so that's what I did, made it worse. Started doing flossing. The flossing worked. It took like a week or two maybe, but like after the first 3 days, it started getting easier. I was like, I'm gonna just keep doing it. Knocked it out, never came back. Then my wife did something. She had the same pain in the same area she was talking about. I was like, babe, I got you. Let me show you what John Brown put me on. I'm a floss, like to showed her the flossing movement. She's like, no, that looks dumb. You look dumb. And I was like, man, that's harsh words. And she's like, I'm just gonna stretch. And she starts doing the stretching moves, and I'm like, babe, don't do that. It's gonna hurt. And she's like, nah, I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. She does it, and she's like, oh God, no. she, she's like, it made it so much worse. It's like, I know. John Brown told me not to do that, and I didn't listen either. So I put her on the John Brown floss. She did the John Brown floss, and all was right with the world after a week or two.
Let's go. Well, I'm glad that we were able to save your wife eventually. I'm sorry she too had to take the long way around.
It's like the human condition, man. I'm sure parents feel like this with their kids. It's like, hey, don't do that. I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't do it, and then they just watch their kid go do that. You know what I mean? Like it's like the same thing, and it not even just kids and adults, like adult to adult. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a human condition. It's like I hear you, but I'm gonna go find out myself. I hear everything you're saying, but like I'm built different, and then you realize I'm not actually built
Uh,
different.
I'm actually built upon second thought, I'm built very similarly.
Upon second thought, I actually had no idea what I was talking about.
Oh God. Well, A, I'm glad both you and your wife are good now. And B, I'm glad that I had the corrective exercise to hold down the squad. This is good.
Yes, good
Um,
stuff, man.
Brethren, I want to ask you two more questions before we end this episode today.
Yes.
This one kind of short and sweet. What's some advice you'd give to another high achiever like yourself when it comes to kind of like your perspective on like obsession, when it comes to like your fitness and balance in life? Like, talk to me
Hmm.
about that.
Let me think. All right. I think, okay. I think it's okay to be obsessed. I think it's absolutely okay. In fact, it's probably necessary to be obsessed about certain things. Um, Having the self-awareness to know when your obsession is detrimental to certain areas of your life is quintessential to succeeding because you cannot be a higher achiever or achiever at any level consistently if you don't keep your obsessions in check to some
Mm,
degree. Um, what that's like is different for everybody, and your your balance of that is going to be different from other people, and that's okay, right? Not everybody needs the same type of balance. Um, but you need to have some sort of balance that is conducive with your life and your goals if you want to sustain it because it is too easy to get obsessed, dive in, and then burn out. And then you're mentally cooked, you're sad, um, you're low spots, and you don't feel like continuing, and then you feel like you switch gears and it's not the gears that you wanted. I think that happens to more people than we realize, and if you keep everything in check, then you're not going to experience that burnout in the same way, and you'll be able to pivot when necessary because that's a big part to achieving as well, right? That's one of the other things I would say too to anybody is be open to all the opportunities in front of you. It may not be exactly what you thought it was going to be, but damn, it could be a lot better than anything you could have imagined because that's the whole story that I said in the beginning. Like I didn't want to go work at a digital marketing firm out of college. I wanted to go work for a label. I wanted to be a superstar producer. I wanted all these things. That was my dream. But I got a good opportunity to work for a good company. It was a small company, and I learned a lot under that company because I got to spend a lot of time with the CEO. Like we're a company of like maybe 20 people. So I got to spend a lot of time with the CEO and other people at that job, and I learned a lot. And looking back on it, that was a better opportunity than the music industry opportunities I got because I wouldn't have been able to climb it through the music industry the way I had I not taken that opportunity to work at the digital marketing agency and learn all that. It was essentially like I just went on a roundabout path and I ended up doing and achieving everything I wanted, you know, in the music industry. It just was not the way I thought it was going to go. So, to anybody out there of like any age, like when you're going through and you see those different paths in front of you, even though it's not the exact one you thought or that you wanted, come at it with an open mind and a good attitude. Because it could be, it absolutely could be, right? If I just said no, but like, oh, well, this isn't in line with what I want to do as a producer, I have no idea where I'd be, John Brown. I have no idea. Maybe I still would have succeeded in my own way. Maybe I would have, given that up and pursued something else, but I can tell you I wouldn't be where I am today had I not
Mm,
done that. So, to sum it all up, allow yourself to be obsessed. Find balance with that obsession in other parts of your life that works for you, and then um, be ready to pivot when you do see good opportunities, even though they may not be exactly what you had in mind. They may be amazing. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
that's sage level wisdom, good sir. And hope any high achiever who hears this follows that sage wisdom because I don't think they're going to hear that anywhere else. So I really hope some people hear this.
I'm sure some people out there saying that I don't I don't think
No,
I'm
no, because people out here talking about lean maxing and microdosing on drugs that shouldn't be done on microdose at all. Should be
there's
taken
people
at
out here
all.
saying a whole lot of things, brother.
A whole lot of things, fam. And I once again, this is wisdom. That is stupid. Uh,
I
last
appreciate it.
question.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, good sir. What would you like to name this episode?
Mm, finding balance with obsession and
Ooh.
uh I felt like I had a banger way to wrap it up. I don't. Yeah, finding balance with obsession. I feel like it's decent.
Decent. That within itself is a bar, good sir. Ugh.
Bars.
Bars. You got it.
Bars.
Um, whoops. One second. This. Gotta make sure I write that down. And it is now written down.
My man.
Wow. All right, good sir. Thank you for your time. I'm now going to end this episode. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for showing up for this episode of the Quadcast. We're sponsored by me. I sponsor this podcast. It's my podcast. Thank you for listening in, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Later.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, John.
You're very welcome, good sir.